Another loaded show coming your way on today's San Francisco 49ers Report. Chase Sr. here with you. Hope you all had a fantastic weekend and your weeks are off to a fine start. Coming up here on the show, Niners make multiple roster moves. They have waived and cut players. They have signed multiple players as well. Does this player have this starting job solidified at a really important position group for San Francisco? We'll get into that. And what is going on with Jauan Jennings? He wants a new deal. He reported the training camp. He started practicing. Then he suffered a calf injury, re-aggravating something that bothered him in the spring. Is he not practicing because he wants that new deal, or is he actually hurt? We're getting into all of that here on the show. But how about this? 49ers Report watch parties are back. They're lit. They're live. They're a lot of fun. And as we always do with all of our content here on the show, we want everything here on the 49ers Report to be insightful, informative, entertaining, thought-provoking. We want you to have a voice. And so we reach so many people during our watch parties. And they return with the Niners preseason opener Saturday night at Levi's Stadium against the Denver Broncos after San Francisco and Denver have a couple of joint practices set up. Kyle Shanahan's team going up against Sean Payton's team, and that'll culminate with a preseason affair Saturday night. Kickoff set for 8:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. Pacific. We'll be live right here on the show, play-by-play, audience interaction, live reactions to everything that transpires. We'll do a pregame show. We'll also do a postgame show to react to everything. You don't want to miss it. Nobody does numbers like we do numbers here during our watch parties on YouTube, so be sure to hop on board and watch the program. As for those Niners roster moves, let's begin there. San Francisco has signed defensive lineman Bradlee Anae, defensive lineman Bruce Hector, safety Jaylen Mahoney is back. He was released last week. Fabian Moreau is a veteran cornerback who the Niners are bringing in. San Francisco has also signed Isaiah Prince, an offensive tackle who's massive and has some starting experience at the NFL level. The Niners have also waived and released multiple players, and there's some notable developments on this front. Of course, there could be roster tactics here and Tetris that happens where San Francisco lets some of these players go, then they bring them back. That happened with Jaylen Mahoney. It's happened multiple times. But the Niners have released cornerback Tre Avery, wide receiver Isaiah Neyor, the UDFA who we've talked about a lot here on the show, quarterback Tanner Mordecai. He is no longer QB3 behind Brock Purdy and Mac Jones. Tight end Mason Pline, the former college basketball player, he has been let go. And of note, kicker Greg Joseph. And I have some thoughts there. With the 49ers releasing Greg Joseph, it appears as though Jake Moody has won the Niners kicker battle, despite him not beating out Joseph during these training camp practices. Joseph was 22 of 24 in training camp. Moody, 21 of 24. And I don't really like how the Niners handled this, right? It was never a true competition. Greg Joseph, who does have ties to Brant Boyer, was never a good enough kicker previously to be serious competition to Jake Moody. And also, why not let preseason games happen when there's actual pressure, when it's an actual live game setting? How can you gauge which kicker has been, is, and is going to be better for your football team if you're only allowing them to practice during these training camp sessions and not actually kick in games? We know that Jake Moody has a big leg. We know that Jake Moody is capable of kicking long field goals, but last year he completely lost his confidence. He looked like a shot fighter. When you looked in his eyes, he felt as though he wasn't going to be able to split the uprights. And so the other day in practice, Kyle Shanahan had walked up to him prior to a big kick when him and Joseph were 3 of 3 at that time. And what did Moody do? He missed. When the pressure is on and the pressure is cooking, Jake Moody seemingly falls apart. Yet you're giving him this job without this ever really being a serious competition at a position that is very important for this football team because of how Jake Moody has cost you in so many occasions last year and in 2023. And so my confidence level in Moody going into 2025 is like a 3 of 10. I have absolutely no confidence that if the game comes down to Jake Moody, when the pressure cooker is ratcheted up, that he's going to be able to make a kick. Hopefully San Francisco can bring in another better kicker because Joseph throughout his career has been pretty mediocre, which is why I'm ranting about this never really being a big competition, and it needed to be because you needed to put pressure on Jake Moody and see if he can escape with his head above water. So far in training camp, hasn't been able to do that. In preseason, regular season games, he struggled a little bit. And so we'll see what transpires. We'll see if the Niners make another move at kicker. But this move tells me that Jake Moody is going into the year as the number one kicker on this team. And if a game comes down to the wire and Kyle Shanahan has to call Moody's number, all of us are going to be holding our collective breath because we have no confidence that Moody is going to be able to win the ball game. And if the Niners lose multiple games because of Jake Moody, I'm going to be pissed off, and so are all of you. Yeah, I just ranted about a kicker that long because it's important. Other notable developments, the release of wide receiver Isaiah Neyor. Look, this is a risky move. 6'4", 220 with 4.4 flat speed. It doesn't come around often. We know that Neyor is a raw player. He had 2 seasons in college where he caught 10-plus catches at Wyoming, at Texas, at Nebraska. A player that gifted should be able to dominate in college. The highs were high, the lows were low. Sometimes he would drop passes. He would be sloppy with his routes. He looked like Tarzan. He played like Jane. But you want to be able to mold and develop a player with that much ability. In the spring, he caught a deep ball that impressed everybody throughout, I believe, rookie minicamp, if not OTAs. The second training camp practice, he caught that long pass, 50-plus yards as he got past 3 defenders. 6'4", 220, 4.4 flat speed, those players don't grow on trees. And so if the Niners don't go roster Tetris here and bring Neyor back, I imagine another team is going to take a chance on him because a player with that type of skill set is very, very rare. Long arms, long strides. He's at least a practice squad player, and I'd like to see San Francisco develop him, but clearly they've made all of these moves at the wide receiver position. They don't feel as though he's ready just yet, but don't rule out the Niners bringing him back. This is also pretty significant here. Tanner Mordecai went into training camp as QB3 behind Brock Purdy and Mac Jones. He's no longer QB3. Carter Bradley tried out with the Niners last week. Kyle Shanahan said that the son of Gus Bradley was so impressive that the Niners needed to sign him. Clearly, the Niners have really liked what they've seen from Carter Bradley in the couple of practices that he's been a part of since, and he is going to be the new third-string quarterback for San Francisco. Bradlee Anae is also a smart and interesting pickup for San Francisco. We know that this defensive line has some depth issues for the Niners. 2020 5th-round pick by the Dallas Cowboys out of Utah. Didn't work out for him at the NFL level, but at the UFL level, he was really good this past year. And one of the best, if not the best, pass rushers in the UFL. He was number 1 in pass rush win rate at 23.2%. Number 1 in pass rush grade on true pass sets at 91.7. He was top 5 in pressures with 33, top 5 in hurries with 23, and in total, 17 tackles, 6 TFLs, and 5 sacks. So Jalen Allen, Bradlee Anae, 2 defensive ends who at the UFL level produced, and clearly the Niners really like both of those players, which is why they signed both. And then there's the signing of Isaiah Prince. This addresses a big need for the Niners, and that is backup offensive tackle. The Niners have been training Spencer Burford, who they drafted as a guard out of UTSA, to be an offensive tackle. I don't know, nor do I think he's good enough to be an NFL offensive tackle. Austin Pleasants, who was good in the spring, has been abused in camp. Andre Dillard, a former first-round pick by the Eagles out of Washington State, he's been hurt. And so this backup offensive tackle position behind Colton McKivitz, who got banged up recently, and Trent Williams, who's 37, just turned 37 in July, is a big concern for the Niners, which is why they had to fortify offensive tackle depth. Prince, a 6th-round pick by the Miami Dolphins out of Ohio State in 2019. He stands tall, 6'7", 305. He does have 6 starts in his NFL career, and he has a wonderful opportunity to maximize his NFL career because of the thinness, if you will, at the backup offensive tackle spots for San Francisco. So Isaiah Prince added to this team, another smart move to address a big area of need, which is depth along the offensive line for San Francisco. And this roster as a whole, when you canvass it, tell you what, if injuries happen along the offensive line, specifically cornerback and linebacker, it's not good for San Francisco. I like the starters for the cornerback position, Deommodore Lenoir, Renardo Green, Upton Stout. The rookie's having a tremendous camp. But if any of those players go down, the backup corners, they haven't really proven much or done much at the NFL level. At linebacker, if D. Winters or Fred Warner get hurt, who steps in at the backup linebacker spots? Along the offensive line, I think it's a unit that's about average from left to right when you factor in the whole unit, right? Trent Williams at left tackle, Ben Barch at left guard, Jake Brendel at center, Dominic Pooney at right guard, or Colton McKivitz at right tackle. But if injuries happen along the offensive line, you also have some concerns, and that's a critical position group for this Niners team, especially factoring the deficiencies that they've had there at that position in recent years. Still to come here on the show. I told you it was loaded. I wasn't lying to you. I never lie to the faithful. Niners make more roster moves. Does this player have this starting job solidified? I may have hinted at it already. Who are the real ones who are smart enough to pick up on that? And what is up with Jauan Jennings? Stay tuned for that, but I do want to give a shout out to our sponsor, Brunt. Thank you so much to Brunt for making today's 49ers Report possible. Brunt's best-selling Marin work boots, not only built for the toughest of job sites, they're completely waterproof, and whether it's rain, mud, or standing water, your feet will stay dry. Outside of talking football, hopping on a mic, being in front of a camera, a lot of you might think, oh, you wear makeup, you're a pretty boy who's always in front of the camera. I actually like to get down and dirty and handle some tough jobs. Outside of work, I love woodworking, and there is nothing worse than putting in a long day and your feet are just killing you because you have work boots that aren't waterproof, that aren't comfortable, and then your feet are just killing you by the end of the day, and then the next day, you got to do it all over again. That makes a long day even longer and a hard day even harder. From oily workshop floors to muddy farm fields and everywhere in between, the Marin 6-inch soft-toe boot, it's built for workers across a variety of trades. That's why I love them so much. Brunt isn't just about work boots. They offer a full range of high-performance gear built for tough jobs. From heavy-duty work pants to weather-resistant jackets, Brunt designs durable, reliable workwear to keep you protected and productive in any condition. Brunt knows they have the best boots on the planet, so they will let you try any of their products on the job, and if you don't like them, you can send them back. Get $10 off your order when you use the code CHAT when you utilize our link to your advantage at bruntworkwear.com/chat. For all of my hard workers out there, for anybody who wants to up their fashion game a little bit, you got to hop on board the Brunt momentum. bruntworkwear.com/chat. Use that code CHAT, CHAT, for $10 off. And when you make your purchase, let them know that we sent you. We'll put that link down below in the show notes and attached to the pinned comment of today's 49ers Report. More roster moves for San Francisco. The Niners signed wide receiver Robbie Chosen-Anderson. Chip said it prior to the show. Didn't the Niners sign him last year? Yes, they did. He was with this team for a little while. Then he played with the Miami Dolphins. Really didn't do much. I have familiarity with Robbie Chosen-Anderson. I went to Temple University when Matt Rule was the head coach there. And Anderson developed into an NFL player. At the Temple Pro Day prior to the draft, he clocked a 4.3. He's tall, skinny, lengthy. He can really run, and that put him on a lot of NFL radars. And so he signed with the Jets as a UDFA, and he turned out to be a really solid player with bad quarterback play for New York. As a rookie, he surprised a lot of people with his production. 42 catches, 587 yards, and 2 touchdowns. In year 2, he was targeted 114 times. He was arguably the Jets' #1 wideout, 63 grabs for 941 yards and 7 touchdowns. He was with the Jets for 2 more years. He was steadily available, pretty durable, started a lot of games, and had pretty solid production. For a UDFA to start his career with nearly 600 yards, 900 plus, 700 plus, 700 plus, then go over 1,000, that's a great career for any player who was an undrafted free agent. And of course, that career year happening with the Panthers in 2020 when he had those 95 catches for more than 1,000 yards and 3 touchdowns. He really wanted a lofty contract. He was never able to get it. In 2021, another very productive year for Carolina where he had more than 100 targets. Since then, he hasn't really been able to stick with teams. He hasn't really been that productive. I would probably say more so Robbie Chosen-Anderson is a player who's trending downward in his career, but Kyle Shanahan said it last week when they signed Andy Isabella, who runs a 4.3, but he's a lot smaller and shorter than Robbie Chosen. We wanted speed, and that's what Anderson gives this Niners receiver core, is a lot of speed. According to Jennifer Lee Chan of NBC Sports Bay Area, Ben Bartch has locked down the starting left guard spot. Now, Chris Foerster, the offensive line coach, said it's his job to lose, but according to Jennifer Lee Chan, he has solidified that spot. And we kind of knew that we were going in this direction all offseason when I had showed you the Niners offensive line depth chart. I had Ben Bartch penciled in there at the left guard spot, and then he missed the start of camp due to a quad injury. He was on the non-football injury list right when he made his training camp debut. Kyle Shanahan put him right in there with the first team at left guard. He is a good player who last year played well in replacing an injured Aaron Banks, the kicker. And I know a lot of Niner fans are tired of hearing about this. He's been injured a lot in his career. And so last year, he comes in against Buffalo in that snow game, and he held up well against a very good Bills defensive line. The following game, he got hurt, and it kind of sucked in the moment because you were trying to make your evaluations with the Niners season over for 2025. And you're thinking, man, if Bartch continues to play like this, he could replace Aaron Banks, who ended up getting a bag, $19 million per year in NFL free agency. He has replaced Banks, but can he stay healthy? It's going to be big for him. And in addition to this entire Niners offensive line, behind him, Nick Zakelj is the leading candidate to be the second string backup. When Bartch was out, it was Zakelj who was in there at left guard. And over the offseason, I had said it when we were driving to Indianapolis, actually, for the NFL Combine, pulled over at a gas station when the Niners decided to bring Bartch back. And I said, this could end up being a nice move for San Francisco. Doesn't cost anything, but you could get a solid starter at that left guard spot. And again, let's hope that he can stay healthy. All right, we round out with this. What is going on with Jauan Jennings? Is he legitimately hurt, or is he hurt in wanting a new deal? And that's why he's not practicing. Remember, Jauan Jennings in the spring injured his calf. To start training camp, within the first couple of practices, he injured his calf. I think this is more so him re-aggravating something that bothered him, and it's not him wanting a new contract. Matt Maiocco echoing the thoughts that I have, saying this, the way he left the field a week ago would lead me to believe that it's legitimate and that he would be out there practicing if he were healthy. I don't think it's a serious thing, but I don't know that we'll see Jauan practice very much or see him in any exhibition games leading up to the regular season. And I agree with that again. Like, why would he start training camp and report and practice day one and then practice after that, produce pretty well, and then not? Jauan Jennings is about that football life. Jauan Jennings is trying to get a deal, but prove to the Niners that he is deserving of that deal. And so I think this calf injury is actually something that is holding him out, and we know what calf injuries can lead to. Worst case scenario, Achilles. Jennings doesn't want that because he has no financial security beyond 2025. All right, thanks to everybody for watching the show. Don't forget to give me a follow on X and Instagram at Chase_Senior. I'm always talking Niners here. I'm always talking Niners over there because the coverage doesn't stop, and that's why they call me and Chit the Content Daddy.